Before the day ends, most people distract themselves. Screens, noise, endless scrolling. But the Stoics believed the night was sacred, not for escape, but for reflection. Seneca wrote that each evening he put his soul on trial, not to judge it harshly, but to understand it clearly. Because how you end your day shapes how you live your life. These questions aren't meant to shame you, they're meant to sharpen you. Each one brings order to the mind, and over time they train you to live deliberately instead of reactively. Ask them honestly, quietly, without excuses. The first question is simple but uncomfortable. Did I live today according to my values or according to convenience? Most people know what matters to them, yet act against it daily, not out of malice, but out of comfort. The Stoics believed virtue was the only true good, not pleasure, not approval, not ease. At night, ask yourself where you chose the easier path over the right one. Not to punish yourself, but to notice the pattern. Awareness is the beginning of change. The second question cuts deeper. What did I allow to disturb my peace today? Anger, envy, impatience, anxiety. These emotions aren't random. They arise when we give external things too much power. Epictetus warned that when you let others control your emotional state, you hand them your freedom. Reflect on what disrupted your calm. Was it someone's words? A delayed outcome? An imagined future? Once you identify the trigger, you weaken its grip. The third question brings clarity. What was within my control today and what was not? This is the backbone of Stoic philosophy. Most mental suffering comes from confusing the two. You cannot control outcomes, opinions, or chance. You can control effort, intention, and response. At night, separate them carefully. Notice where you wasted energy fighting reality. Then notice where you acted with discipline. This question alone can dissolve regret and restore balance. The fourth question is often ignored, but essential. Where did I act with courage, even in small ways? Courage isn't dramatic. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's speaking honestly when silence would be easier. Sometimes it's restraint instead of retaliation. Sometimes it's continuing when quitting would feel better. The Stoics believed courage was practiced daily, moment by moment. Acknowledge it when you see it. Confidence grows through recognition. The fifth question demands humility. Where did I fall short, and what lesson can I extract from it? This is not self-criticism, it's self-respect. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that mistakes are inevitable, but repeating them blindly is optional. Every failure contains instruction. Ask not, why am I like this, but what does this teach me? When you extract the lesson, the mistake loses its power to haunt you. The sixth question resets the ego. Did I act for approval or from principle? The Stoics warned relentlessly against living for praise. When your behavior depends on validation, your peace is always at risk. Reflect on moments where you shaped yourself to be liked rather than to be true. This isn't about rejecting others, but about anchoring yourself internally. The more your actions align with principle, the less external noise can disturb you. The seventh question brings closure. If today were repeated endlessly, would I be at peace with how I lived it? This question forces honesty, not perfection, but alignment. You don't need every day to be extraordinary. You need it to be intentional. Even quiet days can be virtuous. Even difficult days can be meaningful. This reflection gently reminds you that life is happening now, not someday. When practiced nightly, these questions rewire the mind. They turn chaos into order, guilt into insight, restlessness into direction. The Stoics didn't reflect to feel good, they reflected to become better, and paradoxically, that is what brings peace. Night reflection also prepares you for tomorrow. When you sleep with unresolved thoughts, they follow you into the next day. But when you end the day with clarity, your mind rests. You stop replaying conversations. You stop rewriting moments you can't change. You accept what was, learn from it, and let it go. Over time, this practice builds something rare, inner authority. You stop measuring your days by productivity or praise and start measuring them by character. You become harder to provoke, harder to manipulate, harder to destabilize. Not because life gets easier, but because your mind becomes steadier. The Stoics believed that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Nightly reflection is how you clean those thoughts, like clearing debris from a path so tomorrow's steps are lighter. You don't need a journal, though it helps. You don't need long answers. Honesty is enough. Some nights you'll see progress. Other nights you'll see patterns you don't like. Both are victories. The goal isn't to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. And understanding leads to mastery. Eventually, these questions stop feeling like effort. They become instinct. You start catching yourself during the day. You pause before reacting. You choose restraint more easily. You act with intention because you know you'll face yourself at night. That is the power of Stoic reflection. It turns every day into a lesson, every mistake into training, every quiet moment into growth. And slowly, without force, your life begins to align with who you want to be. So, tonight, before sleep, ask yourself these questions. Not rushed, not distracted. Let the day settle. Let your mind speak honestly. Then rest. Tomorrow is another opportunity to practice virtue, clarity, and control. And remember this, peace is found in not avoiding life, but in meeting it consciously. One day at a time, one question at a time.